Hello everyone, welcome to Management Kaksha, a one-stop solution for all your management queries. In today's video, we will be talking about Scientific Management Theory by Frederick Winslow Taylor. In the year 1911, Taylor published his monograph, The Principles of Scientific Management, in which he argued that for a given work, process could be scientifically solved through improved management methods, and the best way to increase labor productivity was to optimize the manner in which the work was done. You might think that the century-old practices or theories wouldn't have any relevance in today's fast-paced, technology-driven environment. But then you're wrong. If you've come across organization charts, performance evaluations, quality metrics, sales or promotion goals, then all of these are Taylor's works. So let's dive into scientific management theory and learn about what Taylor has to say. The contents of this video would be definition of scientific management, meaning of scientific management, principles of scientific management, features or characteristics of scientific management, and the advantages and disadvantages of scientific management. Definitions of scientific management theory. Scientific management is the substitution of exact scientific investigations and knowledge for the old individual judgment or opinion in all matters relating to the work done in the shop. This was given by Taylor. Taylor based his judgments of facts all on the basis of scientific inferences he drew, which would make the process efficient, rather than basing his judgments on the rule of thumb which were followed in the traditional methods. The core of scientific management is the organized study of work, the analysis of work into its simplest elements, and the systematic improvement of the worker's performance of each element. This was given by Peter F. Drucker. He meant scientific management focused on basic steps required to get the work done and how the worker's performance could be improved in those steps. Meaning of scientific management. Basically, Taylor's theory of scientific management focuses on finding the most efficient way in all the management activities and scientific selection and training of workers, also the allotment of work and cooperation and harmony among other workers and management. Principles of scientific management. The first one is science, not rule of thumb. In the rule of thumb methods, which were followed as a part of traditional management, what used to happen was that the top management or the shareholders would set specific goals and metrics, and the orders would be passed down and everybody else had to just follow them. But in scientific management, there was focus given on finding one best way to perform the job. The second principle is scientifically train the employees. Taylor made it specific that each person should be scientifically selected. Now, how to scientifically select a candidate? It was done by checking whether they were best suited for the role physically, mentally, and intellectually. So this is the practice which is being carried on even today, but before scientific management, this was not the case. After selection, there should be proper training given to increase the efficiency. Taylor did not want the employees thinking for themselves. He simply wanted a simple task performed as quickly as efficiently as possible. In a nutshell, workers should be paid for doing, not thinking. The third principle is to ensure efficient ways of working. There are two ways to ensuring that the most efficient ways of working are being used. The first one is by monitoring. Monitor workers' production to ensure that they are efficient. The second is by cooperating work with the employees to retain and recalibrate them so that they are exactly following the most efficient way to perform their job. The fourth principle is divide work between workers and managers. There must be equal division of responsibility between the managers and the workers. The management should assume responsibility for the work which is better suited for them. For instance, management should decide the method of work, working conditions, time for completion of work, etc. The management should be responsible for planning and organizing the work, whereas the workers should be responsible for the execution of work as per the instructions of the management. The fifth principle is pay based on results. Workers should be paid based on how much they produce. This is done by using piece rate pay. Workers' focus should be on productivity. If they don't produce, they don't earn. For example, a factory is producing 1000 units per day and there are 10 workers among them. One worker produced 150 units, another worker produced 200. And suppose all other workers produced an average of 80 units, so that the worker who produced 200 units would get paid more. This is how the piece rate system worked. The sixth principle is mental revolution. The basic idea behind the principles of scientific management is to change the mental attitudes of the workers and the management towards each other. Taylor called it mental revolution. So before scientific management, only the top management used to plan and make objectives and all of the employees of the organization would just follow. What Taylor sought out to do was to change the attitude of both the management and the workers towards each other. So in scientific management, both the parties together turn their attention towards achieving the organization goal collectively. Features of scientific management theory. It is a systematic approach to handle management problems. By removing the rule of thumb, scientific principles and procedures which were used as a part of management by Taylor made every stage of operating activity efficient. It implies scientific techniques in methods of work, recruitment, selection, and training of workers. The working personnel was selected, trained, and employed on the basis of scientific principles. As a result, efficiency, skill, and loyalty of the workers increased. It rejects the age-old method of rule of thumb or hit or miss approach. So as we spoke about earlier, by eliminating the rule of thumb, it introduces the scientific methods to take up processes and produce better results. It attempts to discover the best method of doing the work at the lowest cost. In scientific management, Taylor tries to introduce one best way to do the job. So it's not like everybody is doing the work according to their own method. There was one specific scientific method which was approved and everybody had to follow that one method which would produce the best outcome. It attempts to develop each worker to his greatest efficiency. All the workers were trained scientifically, which means to say that they were given training to perform the specific task at hand, which improved their skills and made them more effective at work, in turn enhancing the skill set and efficiency of the workers too. It involves a complete change in the mental attitude of the workers as well as of the management. Scientific management took the perspective of progressive outlook rather than the conservative outlook. the attitude that the managers were guided by and seeked mentality of cooperation instead of conflict in the minds of workers and managers alike. Advantages and disadvantages of the scientific management theory. In disadvantages, we will be talking about the employer's viewpoint, employee's viewpoint, and industrial psychologist viewpoint. Advantages of scientific management theory. It encourages skilled labor. It provides trained minds for achieving higher degree of excellence in all branches by facilitating specialization and division of labor. It promotes standardization of processes. Standardization is promoted by standardizing the process flow by materials and the tools and equipments used and the methods of work. It enhances efficiency. Efficiency is enhanced by careful time and motion studies which eradicate delays, avoid physical strain on workers, eliminate wastages, and thereby contribute to the efficiency of the workers and ensure a wasteless utilization of resources. Proves beneficial for the workers. The workers, if they perform well, they are in a position to get higher wages. Scientific management also enhances the earnings of the workers and thereby promoting a higher standard of living. Disadvantages of scientific management theory according to employer's perspective. It is costly to research, examine, and conduct the processes in a scientific manner. It is only applicable to larger firms and the smaller firms may not benefit out of it. Scientific management can only be successfully implemented if the workers cooperate wholeheartedly with it. If they fail to cooperate, the system shall not drive the desirable results. Disadvantages according to employee's viewpoint. Loss of individual initiative. Scientific management somehow leads to excessive job standardization. Under scientific management, all the methods of work are standardized and instructions are given to the workers. The workers are supposed to perform the work in the same style and carry out the instructions. This tends to destroy the individual workers' initiative and renders their individuality useless and makes the work monotonous. Speeding up of workers. The process aims to speed up the workers and does not consider their health and well-being. Creation of unemployment. If all the workers are selected through scientific methods, then there might be other unskilled laborers who go unemployed. Monotony. Excessive specialization reduces the work to mere monotony and in turn increases slackness, inefficiency, and loss of interest in the job. Absence of non-financial incentives. Non-financial incentives like recognition, rewards, and other goodwill gestures are not provided to the employees, which is a major drawback of scientific management. Disadvantages according to industrial psychologist's viewpoint. Workers are human beings and cannot be standardized in the same way as machine and materials. Any attempt to standardize their activity will not result in success. Scientific management places emphasis on discovering the one best way of doing a work without considering the individual difference of the workers. Each human being has his own genius, abilities, style, and mode. Hence, the best can be obtained only by giving scope to shape the career according to the career aptitudes and the abilities. Payment of wages on piece rate basis will make the workers disappointed, particularly the beginners and the untrained workers. Thank you so much for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe, like and share the video.